take us through where we're at the moment. Obviously, this is as of Monday, the 16th of March. Moving on to the rest of Europe, obviously, we've seen the coronavirus spread this side in unprecedented volumes and quantities. Just me and my side, in terms of looking at food delivery services, the major players, we look at Tesco, Sainsbury's, Ocado, Waitrose, all of them have got fully booked out slots up until mid-April, it seems. So that is really concerning for those elderly people who are at home and, potentially not able to actually go to the grocery stores. If we look at a city like Madrid in Spain, there's been a video that's been put out by the BBC, which shows a stark contrast now that they've got a full lockdown on the city. And for me, anyone who's been to Madrid, I strongly recommend going to watch that. It's truly, truly insane to see how there's literally no one on the streets of a very, very popular city.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to see these videos, especially in shopping centers or major tourist attractions where there's just no one there. And it shows like what kind of ghost town happens when you put this kind of lockdown on a city. And so I think it shows again how seriously lots of people are taking this, and I think we need to see this around the world. We're going to see lots more of these videos from all these major European cities, and especially moving into the US and into Africa itself, it's going to become the norm, I think.
Yeah, I agree there. If we look at Ireland and how important drinking culture is in Ireland, we saw following the annual event that is St. Patrick's Day, pubs have now been closed. Never thought I would ever say that word. Did you, Barry?
I didn't, and I'm sure that is horrible for all the Irishmen out there who love St. Paddy's Day. But again, it's important to do it. I think that pubs are especially virus friendly because people get very loose when they drink and they start patting each other on the back, and there's lots of contact and going on in those pubs. So I think it's very important, and to do it on their St. Patrick's Day thing as well is a big step.
Now, I know somebody who's in Netherlands who I'm actually doing this half Ironman with, or thought I was going to do this half Ironman with, and she's been working from home. I was quite surprised because I hadn't really heard anything coming out of Netherlands. But if you look at this past week and actually yesterday, Sunday, the number of deaths increased from 4 to 24, 20 deaths in one day. That's quite a massive move there.
Yeah, I think the Netherlands are at that start of the exponential curve as well, and so they're going to see these numbers start to increase. We've seen very similar trends from all these countries, like especially like China and South Korea, and now into the Europe. We're going to get to Italy now. Italy is obviously the worst affected, and so I think all of these countries, the Netherlands, Ireland, all these guys are just a few days behind Italy. I think they're going to see the same sort of curves happening, and the Netherlands it looks that way.
Absolutely. Well, let's certainly get to Italy. Obviously, they were kind of the most affected by this virus in Europe, basically complete lockdowns happening. Initially they tried to quarantine just the north, but a lot of people kind of fled south, and it still are worries that the virus moves more south. What are some of the things you've seen and heard of in Italy, Barry?
Yeah, so some really sad stuff coming out of Italy at the moment. I think that at the moment they're facing huge death numbers. They're seeing hundreds of deaths a day. So not 10, not 20, hundreds of deaths every single day. And their health system is completely overwhelmed. So reading things by Italian doctors and Italian healthcare people, they don't have the resources or the facilities to deal with all the new infections that are coming every single day. Yeah. And that obviously plays on the minds of the nurses and the doctors and stuff who are working in those environments. And psychologically, not being able to help people they want to be able to help is really, really tough. And so I think Italy is in a really, really tough space at the moment, and we need to look at Italy seriously as kind of an example of what can happen if you don't take this thing seriously enough. For everyone in Italy, our thoughts are with you, and it's a tough situation right there.
Yeah, let's not forget Italy, also one of those countries that have been plagued with a bit of a corrupt government in the past as well. And so on top of this, with a country that's been robbed of public money, I think it's going to be really interesting to see on a financial level as well what happens with them in the next coming months. Also, in terms of Spain, we obviously just chatted a little bit about Madrid. There's been 1,000 cases increased in the last 24 hours. This just talks to that exponential growth that we've just been reiterating throughout this episode. If we look at Germany, they have closed their border today day with 5 countries. Emmanuel Macron, in terms of France, to address the public this evening, because also a lot of people think that France and, a massive city that is Paris, that currently has a lot of people still wandering the streets, although the Louvre is closed and although the Eiffel Tower is closed, a lot of way needs to be made there as well.
Yeah, I think we've seen the same pattern across all of these countries, and Paris is obviously a huge tourist destination. So again, it's a big deal here. And Germany closing the border is par for the course. And so I think the whole of Europe is dealing with this in their own way and trying to monitor it as best as they can. I think a lot of the European travel is completely closed down now, and people are going to have to stick where they are and just try and survive wherever they are. And Europe is really in the fire hose at the moment. They really are in the center of the storm. And so we're going to hope to see improvements there, and hopefully we can learn some of the lessons from Asia that has kind of stabilized that situation a little bit and apply it to a European context.
Across the pond.